Good afternoon. Today is the 32nd day of the trip. I'm in great shape. I feel great. I arrive in the village of Kluchi, already left it, because the next attraction is outside the village and I have to walk 8 kilometers to get to the mud volcano. Go. By the way, there are two ways to get to the volcano. The road I'm on right now is by car. Its path is 8 keys. And there is also a pedestrian option to go along the abandoned Japanese narrow gauge railway, 10 km long, but through thickets, tunnels, avalanche galleries. I chose the car route because it's shorter and suddenly some car will go and pick me up. There is also another reason. I'm afraid of snakes. And now it's sunny and they can get out to bask. The snakes here are mostly vipers. Very poisonous. I'm in slippers and shorts, which means I have bare legs, so it's better to protect myself. It's better to think in advance and protect myself, so that there are no problems. We'll see. Maybe on the way back we will go along an abandoned Japanese road. Despite the fact that in some places there were difficult puddles and a lot of mud, I'm still glad that I chose this option. Most of the way the road is easily passable. I love such trips for the opportunity to be in my thoughts and listen to music in my headphones. Gradually, step by step, meter by meter, I am getting altitude and going out to the observation deck, from where we can look at Yuzhno-Sakhalinsk from a bird's eye view. Well, for the 100th time, I will know the vegetation. There are a lot of berries along the road. It seems that there are only a few steps left and I will see what I came here for. I have finally arrived at the mud volcano. By the way, its name is not very original. They call it Yuzhno-Sakhalinsky mud volcano. Anyway, the main thing is that this volcano works and they can look at the products of its activity. Everything is in the mud. Somewhere it's liquid, somewhere it's dry. Of course, I've already fallen into this mess. This thing is called a griffin and it gurgles. Let's check its depth. I specially prepared the stick. Let's get a look. Crap! Got back into the dirt again. Let's jump right into the hole and take a look. Guys, you can drown here. This is all really a swamp, only in the form of the volcano. Wow! There will be 2 meters. Therefore, guys, don't go into the mouth of the volcano. Mud volcano is a thing associated with the eruption of methane and carbon dioxide, mineralized water with a small manifestation of oil. There are smaller volcanoes here, but we are not interested in small ones, right? We came to see this spectacle. By the way, the last time the eruption was in 2011 and it's associated with the events in Japan back then. It was a massive earthquake. Guys, this is not a play. I was walking on this volcanic field and now I'm really failed. I don't know what it is, a crater, just mud, a volcano, I don't care. The main thing is that I failed with 1 foot and barely got 1 slipper back. Here are the things. I'm afraid to move on so as not to fail with the second leg. I will think now. Be careful when you are here, this is not a joke. It's swampy. By the way, the temperature is comfortable, not cold and not hot. That is, we can sit here for a long time, but I don't want to sit here. I have to climb out somehow. Crap! It's good that I fell through only knee deep. No, it's drawing. Yeah, I can't lean. Who doesn't learn from life? Me, of course. Barely escaped from this abyss of mud. So I went on to look closer at these small craters and I began to get sucked in again. No guys, well, fuck it. I'll go out of here until I'm up to the chest or even with the head. Beautiful, of course, interesting, but no. I will go. I'm dirty as a pig. What did I expect when I went to the mud volcano? Stay clean? A very ridiculous act of my part and a ridiculous opinion. It's good that there is a river in the village of Kluchi, which is closest to the volcanoes. I went downstairs on a motorcycle, for which, thanks to the kid who gave me a lift, now I'm going to shake it all off myself. I got dirty while riding a motorcycle. Fun, huh? I'll scrub off. Feet are almost clean. I washed myself in clothes for about 20 minutes. When I'm dirty, I can't go to people. I'm clean, whiter than before, like a white man. I bought a milkshake, as it says here, but it turned out to be a soda. Deception. Don't buy Mio, they're scammers. Good afternoon, today is the 33rd day of the trip. I'm starting new adventures. I'm starting at the garden park, which I already fell in love with very much. We are moving east to conquer Chekhov Peak. Let's go. We need to drive the first 5 km by car, but the road here is dead. But as we say, it's better to drive badly than to go well, which I took advantage of. I called the car, they gave me a lift. Now, before the beginning of the pedestrian part, I have to walk 700 meters. Unfortunately, the Mercedes can't go further. Good too. Air is what stands out here. You want to breathe it. You want to get enough, but you can't. So I'm making a very big mistake, because it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm starting my ascent. In fact, it's very late to go to the mountains at such a late hour. Don't repeat after me. Someone just slept for a very long time. Let's go. The path is long. The book says 6 hours, but I think they can do it faster. Do you know what's good? The fact that here we can go even without a navigator. Our path is completely marked. More precisely, all the trees are marked. Literally every tree is marked. So you won't get lost here. I give a guarantee of 98%, because 100% can never be confirmed. Now a very steep climb begins, and without the rope, I will say right away that it's much more difficult to do this. So don't be shy and use the help organized by caring people. Normal people are already going down, but I'm only going up. Half an hour later, I arrive at the first checkpoint, Ravenstone. This is the beauty of being at the top and looking into the distance. We are lucky with the weather several days in a row, and we can see Sakhalinsk below. The 180 degrees panorama is simply amazing. The next checkpoint is called Spur, and the height is already 798 meters above sea level. Higher, even higher, we will go further, because we have passed only half of the route. The road becomes more and more interesting, because we have to make our way through coniferous thickets that I haven't yet my way through. It has become easier to go, because the ascent is now very insignificant. Here begins the ride of colors. Just what I wanted all this time. Fine! I only have time to look under my feet. There is no time to look around. And if you also consider that I am in slippers, don't repeat my mistake. I recommend this route to everyone. It's not difficult and the children can make it. Next checkpoint is the Remnant Ward, located at an altitude of 900 meters above sea level. Again, great views here. What is it, wherever we are, everywhere is cool. We can arrange a break, but I'm not very tired. There are still 1900 meters to the final point. The height difference will be small. I think we can walk slowly without stopping. The height of vegetation here is much lower because of the blowing of wind. There is nowhere to hide. Okay, we are diving in. Let's dive in here. Beautiful. And there are even more spectacular views ahead. Do you know what's cool about this route? Mass ascents are held here every year, and anyone can take part and then get a certificate. One thing I like about this route is that we have freedom of choice. Look, we can go here, but we can go here. If we can go here too. In any case, we are not mistaken. Let me go this way, in the middle. All these roads converge at the end, and we will be on the right path. Look, this path came out of there. I have about 500 meters left to go to the final point. I'm already in the wildest anticipation. Or another road. We can go here, we can go there too. It's such an interesting story. This summer I had to conquer Elbrus, which is 5,600 meters high, and in the end I conquered Chekhov mountain, which is only 1,045 meters high. But who cares, 1,000 meters or 600? The main thing is the process itself and the views that open from these peaks, and most importantly, that the goal was achieved. The wind is blowing strong here. Let's climb to the highest point. Great, great! The wind spoils everything, and I'm going to freeze now! You know what's interesting? The weather whispers, as they say, despite the wind, and we can see Krasnodar, a city that is 60 kilometers from here, and we can see not only it, but also what is behind it. And also, there is a booth here, which is like a kind of Japanese temple, which our tourists scribbled and defiled, etc. Oh, there is no wind here. But there is. Let's get back. Cold, cold. By the way, I got up in 1 hour and 50 minutes. Who faster? Write in the comments. I'm without equipment, so it's easier for me. I went down in 1 hour and 30 minutes, 44,000 meters passed. We can return to the city. So I went down. I want to find my ukulele, which I left before the climb, and you know what? I didn't find it. Looks like it was stolen, and most likely it was stolen by those who have nothing to do with music. What skulls are? You know, in Europe and Scandinavian countries, you can leave a full bag of money, a passport, and other valuables, and no one will touch them. Last year we traveled like this for 2 months, and no one even looked at them. And here is a small guitar, a case full of holes. So what kind of people, huh? There are no good words. I'm holding myself back. Thieves and grabbers live in Russia. There are good people too, but I think there are more bad ones. Good morning. Today is really morning because I got up early. Today is the 35th day of the trip. On the 24th day I completely rested and did nothing. Now I'm going to get myself a border pass, because the day after tomorrow I'm going to the Kurils. Tickets have already been bought. I need only to make documents for visiting these islands. Almost came to the border guard's office. Someone on the internet wrote that passes are issued in a day, but they just told me that they might not be in time, because they have the right to issue them for 15 days. But I read that 15 days is issued if ordered online. I would not want to get into the border area of the Kurils without a pass and break the law. In addition to a small fine, there will be nothing there, but I don't want to. Okay. We are going further. I need to buy a return ticket. I bought a return ticket from the Kurils at the company's office for about $46. On the website the price is 10% more expensive. $5 don't lie on the road, or do. A trifle, but nice. Since I'm near the railway station, let's look at the sites associated with the railway. Steam locomotive D51 narrow gauge, Japanese. That's good, but at least here we can look at it, albeit behind bars. Russian railways have fenced it off. In other cities without bars, we can look at this splendor. It's the power, not like your diesels and electric locomotives. I haven't been to the railway museums for a long time. The last time it was 4.5 years ago in Brest in Belarus. And now I'm at the other end, moved from the southwest to the southeast. Here we have our stories. For example, the Japanese narrow gauge is 1067mm. We saw it in wildlife just a week ago, so this site is not of interest to us, because we saw it live not within the museum, but within the framework of the existing railway. Steam locomotive D51. Handsome. Of course, it was possible not to put the Russian flag here, and indeed the inscription that this is the Sakhalin Railway. I also like one feature. Parts of the locomotive are signed here. It says here steam part, water pump, water part. I think it's great. Even the cockpit is open and we can look out of the corner of our eye. Let's see. Here is a more modern camera. This is a TGM-7 shunting diesel loco. A shunting diesel loco is also a shunting diesel loco in Africa. Exhibit for the Museum of the History of the Sakhalin Railway. For you to know, it's not just that. And of course, it has already served its time and now retired. In general, it's extremely cool that a modern rail bus stands next to them, in which it's comfortable, but you know, the exclusivity of Sakhalin railways is lost. Here is the tank, here is the diesel loco TG-16. On it, but in different color, we drove along the Romanian Japanese branch, which had a month and a half to live. Looks like 2TE-116. Sakhalin gets covered with snow very heavily, and here you need a unit that will clear the road. I saw Soviet photographs where the snow was 4 meters high, and such a Hulk cleaned the road. Cool. We have a tag like this. To be honest, I'm not particularly interested in this, but the freight train and the passenger train, yes, I love it. Here is a diesel train, VO traffic light, and one. Almost like a subway car. Notice how short freight cars and platforms are. The fact is that a narrow gauge railway can withstand less load on itself, so small loads and small wagons. Recently, just a few years ago, this D2 diesel train, which was produced in Japan, ran on Sakhalin railways. But unfortunately, all these models have been decommissioned, and there is one copy in the museum and we can look at it. Even the sign has been preserved, Yuzhno-Sakhalinsk-Bykov, a suburban village nearby. Now no trains go to Bykov, it has remained a part of history. Do you remember at the exit from Aha I showed you a monument to a steam loco? The Aha-Nogliki line was considered the slowest narrow gauge railway in the world. Here we have a reconstruction of the same train that was moving there. Here are the same cars that ran at a very low speed. And here is the same locomotive TU-7 in which there is a teddy bear. These were the trains that ran on the narrowest gauge railway. Cool. According to some information, it took 11 hours to hit 200 kilometers and it was considered very fast. It was a success. This trip to Russia is spontaneous for me. Before that, I had planned to visit the North Caucasus, but then the opportunity came up to get to the Far East and I decided to organize a trip to Russia. So, before the borders were open, when everything was fine, there was no quarantine and no coronavirus, I had planned to go to the UK, the birthplace of all trains. Now I'm here and it's really interesting for me to watch all these things. This 159 series loco looks like a toy to me. This is a really living, real example, and it was built in Novocherkassk, not far from my homeland, just in the North Caucasus. This team participated in the refurbishment of the tunnels. The fact is the Japanese tunnels are narrow because the trains are narrow due to the fact that the gorge is narrow. And now the new standards, the track is wider and the tunnels had to be expanded to category C. This Hulk worked in these projects. And now the bonus episode. We will go inside the cabin of a narrow gauge diesel loco. Let's go. There is not enough space, but as we say, in cramped conditions, but not offended. We are closing, so there is not cold. We are sitting down. What do we have here? Full working cab. Train crane. Back and forth. Working. Various switches. Now make a loud horn. Speeding up. Oh, video cassettes. What a rarity. Toys for children, and there are even books. So come here with your children. Read books. Play. Fantasize. And again, Yurno-Sakhalinsk pleases me with the station square. It's really clean and can't be compared with Khabarovsk. Khabarovsk is a big stone in your garden, just a cobblestone. Clean territory, fountains, flat tiles, nothing sticks out, just gorgeous. Why can all regions do well, but not Khabarovsk? The last disaster of a regional scale for the Sakhalin region was in May 1995. It was a very powerful earthquake that killed more than 2,000 people. There are a lot of eyewitnesses left, people remember. In honor of this event, this stone was erected, reminiscent of these sad events. Of course, if there is a monument to Lenin on the whole island in all series, then how should Yurno-Sakhalinsk be different? Nothing. There is also a huge monument, probably the largest on the entire island. Now I was sitting in this square and the local guys gave me a congratulatory flyer. The fact is that in a week, on September 3, the anniversary of Russia's victory over Japan will be celebrated. On September 3, the southern part of Sakhalin and the Kurils were liberated from the Japanese militaries. And again, this is an event of a regional scale. We are congratulated by Deputy Georgy Karlov. They also gave me a ribbon. I've decided to take a ride on a new route for myself from Yurno-Sakhalinsk to the village of Dalnya. You know what? I rented a whole train for only 13 cents, which is even cheaper than it was in Slovakia. In Slovakia, in my opinion, I traveled alone for €1. I am alone! You know why? Because I rented the whole tram for €1. And now I have two-wagon train. For the next minute, I'll be showing you the view from the train window. Last time I took a view to the east, now I will take a view to the west. First, we are passing a passenger car yard. Then we see a fire train. And then perhaps the main railway crossing of the city. I will be silent for the next half minute, see for yourself without my comments. Our trip lasted 8 minutes, and that's it, we're finished. The train doesn't go further. Why? Because they changed the track to 15-20 millimeters only up to this point. I will take literally 20 more steps, and that's it, the end. Here is the dead TG16. That's it, guys, it's over. The road was changed, and then the road is abandoned. The end. Previously, I was told it was possible to take the train until here and then transfer and get to the Vladivostok station. By the way, this is the same connecting branch line from Yuzhno-Sakhalinsk to Tomsk. This is where railway civilization ends. There is an abandoned loco. Let's take a quick run. I have only 5 minutes and then our train goes back. I came to this TG16 head, completely killed. They cut everything they could. You know what's the most annoying thing? Even the rails have already been removed. Even these narrow ones. And a year ago they were, and on this local it was possible to leave to the next station. Guys, I have no words. This is how roads crumble and heritage is lost. If you like the video, share it with your friends and also write comments down below about what you remember the most. In the next video, I'm going to be curious.